What it do, flight crew? FTC. Flight T stand up! It's June! Hey man, college football 26 official gameplay deep dive is here! You guys know how we get down, man. We're gonna react to the EA Sports version, and we're gonna try and find a few, 2 and 3 in 1 videos along with it, man. College football, man, comes out in, I believe, literally 2 weeks, bro. Let's check it out. All right, game engine footage, some camera angles adjusted for trailer use.
Welcome to the EA Sports College Football 26 Gameplay Deep Dive.
Damn.
We'll share details about a massive playbook expansion, all new player types and abilities, improvements to wear and tear, new control mechanics, stadium pulse, physics-based tackling, and a lot more. Let's get into it. With real coaches comes a massive playbook expansion. For the first time ever, over 300 real college football coaches bring their unique styles and authentic play calling to the game, delivering distinct program identities and more play calling variety. Over 2,800 new plays.
I see a cheese play right there, that option. Okay. Day one, I'm going to need the playbook that I was using that has all the wildcat, the receiver reversals, the options, the RPOs. I need all of that first day.
And over 45 new formations have been installed. New option types, motion types, bizarre plays and formations from last season are at your fingertips.
I like that. I like to hear that. A lot more bizarre plays, more option plays. Hey, they saying everything we want to hear right off the bat.
All tuned so you can craft a strategy that feels like your favorite program. 10 brand new player archetypes and rebalanced abilities, now 84 total, are designed.
Wow, so they got badges like 2K.
Designed to showcase the wide variety of skill sets we see in college football every Saturday.
What?
Improvements to how abilities scale are based on performance. When a player gets hot, their physicals receive a substantial boost, and platinum tier abilities will automatically upgrade.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, bro, the first 2 minutes and they've showed at least 5 option plays. Option plays are 100%. I mean, it was already cheese last college football 25, but I feel like the meta for this game is gonna be option plays, bro.
New, more powerful Heisman tier. The Heisman tier captures those unexplainable moments when a player single-handedly takes over a game.
What the hell? Nah, yo, y'all niggas, I know y'all seen that catch. I know y'all seen this.
When a player single-handedly takes...
Bro, he caught that no-look one-hander like these, bro. What the hell?
Over a game.
Now, I wonder if you can actually control with the icon button, if you can control a one-handed catch like you're able to do in Madden.
New field vision introduces more realistic challenges for quarterbacks. Shorter quarterbacks will now have more limited vision when surrounded by taller linemen.
That's how it's supposed to be. I ain't gonna lie, that's a little realistic right there. That's how it's supposed to be. Bro, if you're a 5'8" quarterback, you shouldn't be able in the video game to scan the field like you're like 6'5", you know?
Icons will fade as they come in and out of view.
Alright, I ain't gonna lie, this shit right here will be a broken controller. That should be easy, but I can make that pass in my sleep. Alright, so we have BS overthrown passes still in the game.
To ensure balance around how different abilities affected wear and tear during hits and tackles, every ability in the game was reviewed and adjusted. New customizable auto-sub options let you tailor personnel decisions to strategically handle wear and tear for every position. Take complete control with adjustable impact settings and battle real-world conditions with new weather modifiers that impact wear and tear.
Really?
And you'll get instant feedback with new pre-snap visual cues that can affect a player's demeanor, indicating their condition right on the field. Updates to physics-based tackling make better tackles actually feel better. New tackle types like wrap catch tackles and lunges and new timing-based skill mechanics offer more tools to disrupt and dictate the game. With new authentic audio for big hits that adds realism and variety to defense. New dynamic subs allow real-time roster management without breaking from the action, enhancing the flow and strategy of every game. Make informed personnel decisions and get your starters back out there with one button press. A rebuild of offensive and defensive line interactions redefines trench battles. Control the direction of your blocks with new block steering, which factors in player attributes like strength and momentum for more realistic line of scrimmage play. And the addition of stunts and twists delivers more depth and control in pass rush. 12 different types of stunts offer a range of strategic options before the snap, providing a new layer to the chess match at the line of scrimmage. We're introducing adjustable defensive zones.
Hey, I didn't see this until like after the last college football trailer or whatever. I had seen it actually in a TikTok clip of somebody pointed it out. I actually really like it. Look at this right here, guys. I actually like this right here. So, okay, look. You was able to this is what's called stimming. So you was able to do this on offense, but now on defense, bro, this is going to be so clutch, bro. Because there's so many plays where people will literally see me intentionally try to defend the deep ball, right? And let's say it's about to be the end of halftime or like even like the end of the game. You know what I'm saying? Bro, the broken EA like AI system sometimes, bro, you can literally like tell your defense, hey, I want y'all to guard deep and they'll still let them throw over the top. Now you're able to stem everything. So now you can literally like single-handedly control where you want, you know what I'm saying, for your safety or your defensive back, you know what I'm saying, to fall under and stuff. Like, I feel like that's a lot more clutcher and a lot more, you know what I'm saying, in-depth. I like that right
zones
there. I like
for
that.
More precise control over pass coverage.
See, like,
adjusted depth.
You should have been able to do that.
Lineup and coaching adjustments. Fine-tune your defensive
Oh shit, you can actually separate it. Look,
adjustments.
So now you don't actually gotta just call when you're trying to guard the deep ball like last seconds in the game, you can now just pick prevent on like the safety or like the defensive back or whatever. You don't gotta just actually pick the whole play.
Your defensive strategies in real time and outsmart opponents.
I feel like if you know how to use this correctly, this is gonna take away a lot of like the quick little RPO passes and like the you know, the slant routes and like the little out routes and stuff like that. I like that.
When you're on the home field advantage side of Stadium Pulse, it's a beautiful thing. But for visitors, Stadium Pulse in College Football 26 is louder, tougher, and more personal.
Wow.
Elevating the chaos of night games in already tough-to-play places. More intense camera shake, new visual disruptions, and distorted clocks will throw off your timing and communication.
What?
With dynamic intensity.
Bro, I ain't doing too much, bro. Now, I ain't ever been to, like, no actual college game and shit like that. But, bro, does that really happen, bro? Like, they got the clock, you know what I'm saying, when you look forward on the stadium thing and when you look backwards, does it really be shaking like that? So now you mean to tell me I can't be able to tell how much time is left on the game, bro? It was one thing when you're trying to kick your field goal and that thing is shaky as hell. But now I can't tell the time?
On the game situation or career moment. Pre-order the MVP bundle.
Hey, man.
Includes both EA Sports,
College Football 26, Madden 26 looking like it's having some potential, man. Does everything that you have heard so far is enough to get you guys to order everything and pre-order right now? Or do you still need to see more, like, you know, content? Do you need to see maybe like the first week of, like, you know what I'm saying, people play the game and stuff like that? All right, man, let's look at, we got multiple clips to look at low-key. We got my man Bordox. We got the man Eric Mayweather. So let's start out with Bordox first. Bordox video is actually 40 minutes long. We don't got to look at a full thing. But if you also know my man Bordox, he is EA partnered as well. So, you know, he's going to have the inside scoop about everything. Then we go right to Eric Mayweather.
I've played College Football 26 a few times now, and I can finally share more of what I've experienced, which is nice because it's been so hard to hold parts in while there's been leaks going on. Today, EA just dropped a 40-plus page deep dive that's loaded, so I'll be covering that and the new trailer with gameplay. But I can also talk about parts that didn't make the cut. When we were at EA a few weeks ago, I got to ask devs about specific games with gameplay, but I can also talk about parts that didn't make the cut. When we were at EA...
Bro, EA, where's my invite to community day, bro? Damn, bro!
A few weeks ago, I got to ask devs about specific gameplay stuff that I wanted fixed badly. And we'll get to all of that in this video, but let's just start out watching this trailer.
Welcome to the EA Sports College Football 26.
Is every single...
And they're all tuned so you can craft a strategy that
in college football. We are
types and rebalanced abilities.
So I had no choice but to pause because, as you can see, they've actually updated positions in college football. We are no longer going to have the default defensive ends, the left outside linebackers, the middle linebackers. They've changed all of that. Instead, you're going to have your Mikes, your Wills, your Sams. You're going to have edges. It's not going to be like it was last year, but it's pretty easy to adjust to it, and it actually fits football better. From this gameplay clip, we can also start to take a look at all of the new archetypes that they added. Like for edges, there's physical freaks. This was not something that you could find on a left end, right end last year. And it took me so long to pause on the receiver one, but I have to talk about this because every single archetype for receivers has been completely overhauled. You're no longer just going to be targeting stuff like deep threats in recruiting because they've completely overhauled it, and there are some better ones than Speedster. That's all I'll say for now. It also does seem like whenever it comes to stuff like speed on most of the receivers, it's a lot lower than it was default last year whenever they come in as freshmen, but that's because you can control wherever you upgrade your stats. That's another week that's come out. This is what happens whenever there's a beta. We'll get to most of it whenever the Dynasty Deep Dive comes out. And I'm just enjoying showcasing some of these new archetypes. So like with your Sam, we have one that's Lurker. That one is very good. And I've been trying forever to pause on the running back one. I just can't get it, but the whole running back position has also been overhauled whenever it comes to archetypes, and then that, of course, translates to
Gordox, I need that Devin Hester jersey, bro. Bro, Devin Hester from 561, bro. I need that. That shit look nice.
Select. Finally, I got one of them. It's an East-West playmaker. That's Ruben Owens. And I should probably get back to watching this trailer at some point.
And rebalanced abilities, now 84 total, are designed to showcase the wide variety of skill sets we see in college football.
Oh, I'd be so mad if that happened to me.
Improvements to how abilities scale are based on performance. When a player gets hot, their physicals receive a substantial boost, and platinum tier abilities will automatically upgrade to the new, more powerful Heisman tier.
So this can only happen if you're going off with a player that already has a platinum ability or the tier below it, which I think is star. It's almost like an X Factor in Madden, except you're not guaranteed any specific result. You can't go into a game with a player having a Heisman tier ability. The max they can start out a game with is platinum, and if they start playing really well, then it goes up to Heisman. When it comes to abilities and how much a player can jump up in a game, the max is 2 tiers. So that's why I said you can't go in with somebody that has like an impact ability at the very bottom and then have it jump all the way up to Heisman because they've been going off throughout the game. It can't go up that much. What's crazy is in the few times I've played the game, I haven't even seen this Heisman ability. I'm sure it's been there. I think it's pretty rare to get, but there's so much going on the field, I haven't even noticed it.
The Heisman tier captures those unexplainable moments when a player single-handedly takes over a game.
What a catch.
That's what I said, bro.
More realistic challenges for quarterbacks. Shorter quarterbacks will now have more limited vision when surrounded by taller linemen. And receiver icons will fade as they come in and out of view.
You see this new orange bar as well. I think this was meant to replace the red one for those hard passes, but it does drive me a little bit crazy. With all the stuff that they're mentioning here, I have to point
I ain't gonna lie, I turned that off. I need y'all niggas to help me out. What setting was that again? Because I remember when the first day that college football was out, I actually turned that off, I believe, because it's just distracting. I don't know why. Like, I don't, bro, if somebody throws a ball in real life, they don't get a green and orange, yellow bar, bro. What are we doing, you know? So
noticed when playing against the computer, playing against other users, is quarterbacks are far more inaccurate than they were last year, and I think it's because they want a bigger gap between the stars and the regular guys. It really feels like defense is going to be overpowered this year because they made the coverage stats better. There's more adjustments you can make on defense to pretty much cover anything out there possible.
You heard what Bordock said. So this game is going to be primarily a defensive-based type of a game. For you defenders out there, hey, this might be, you know what I'm saying, y'all time to shine. I'm still gonna be doing y'all option plays and throwing over the top of y'all, so you know what I'm saying, you can only
And they've even increased the pursuit, which I'm actually not a fan of. I wanted to have more open gameplay, more plays that shouldn't necessarily happen, but you make one little cut and you get out of there. I'll say this right now. I've talked to multiple devs that worked on the gameplay. They said they didn't do anything to slow things down. They didn't change anything on the back end to make things feel slower, but I still think this feels a little bit slower than 25, and it might have something to do with the pursuit being raised, or the defensive players having better coverages, or just the fact that all these builds I've been playing on aren't going to be what the final release is. That is going to be something I'm curious to hear y'all's opinions on, though, if you notice the gameplay feels a little bit slower. I'm really not sure what causes it.
To ensure balance around how different abilities affected wear and tear during hits and tackles, every ability in the game was reviewed and adjusted.
Look at that injury. Okay, so yeah, they're going to talk about the sliders here. All of these sliders are in Dynasty, so you can customize wear and tear for it to work however you want. And I also got a little bit more clarity on what went wrong. Whenever it was working, it was a great system, but there were definitely a few things on the back end that weren't correct that caused it to be really bad sometimes. It eventually ended up getting fixed, and one thing I probably didn't realize is if you're going to run into some tackles with your quarterback and take major hits, you're going to lose a lot of wear and tear, and I've just never been used to that in a game before. That definitely had a big impact on how I felt about wear and tear, or even when you look over at the stamina and fatigue when you're playing Road to Glory with a wide receiver or running back. If you didn't adjust the slider, then you weren't getting out on the field more than half the time. I don't know if they addressed that specifically for Road to Glory. I would sure hope that they did. I didn't ask it though, so I don't know 100%. I don't want to say that I do. And worst case scenario, you just drop down the slider. That's why it's nice having sliders. The more control they give us, the more we can use them to make the gameplay play the way that we want it to if they don't get it right.
Well, auto sub options let you tailor personnel decisions to strategically handle wear and tear for every position. Take complete control with adjustable impact settings and battle real-world conditions with new weather modifiers that impact wear and tear.
Another question y'all are probably going to have, because we have seen the snow in Madden 26.
Right.
Are they going to have that heavy snow in College Football 26? Not at the moment. I don't know what it would take to get it over from Madden, since I would assume the games are pretty similar. It'd be nice to see it because that heavy snow is so hard to play in. I didn't score a single point, believe it or not, whenever I played on Madden 26 in the heavy snow. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is it right here. As you can see, it's very hard to see in it. It makes the effects so strong. But when I was a kid, that's what I would have dreamed of whenever I was playing in the heavy snow. It looks better than snow has in any football game recently, because it does look a little off. And I just really
I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna be 1,000 now. I don't know if EA is gonna hear that when it comes directly to their marketing team. I personally just keep the snow effect exclusively to Madden, because like what you don't want to do is you don't want to have like the same things Madden is having in college football, and then basically you're gonna be like, okay, what's the difference between both games then? I like that you have the option to have snow, but let's keep that little the major heavy snow effects in Madden 26, please.
The future, they can bring that over to College Football 26, because it would be sick. It just wasn't there on any of the builds that we played. I feel like I've been rambling a lot throughout this trailer so far, though. There's just so much I've been wanting to talk about. I haven't been able to say for a bit. Let's keep playing it, though.
Impact wear and tear. And you'll get...
Bro, I don't know why, bro. I'm ready for this football season, my nigga. Like, I feel like this damn football season, both NFL and college football, about to be generational, especially the NFL, bro. A lot of hella talent in the draft and stuff. Hey, my Patriots about to make the comeback to the damn sports, you know what I'm saying, decade. Don't even try to bandwagon, you feel me? So,
I didn't see that.
A player's demeanor, indicating their condition right on the field.
That was something I didn't notice whenever I've been playing it, but what I do know is whenever it comes to like the home field advantage, if you have a player that's closer to you on the field, like a running back, versus the receiver out on the outside, you have a better chance at the hot route working on the running back. They did overhaul a little bit of that. I'm assuming they're going to get to that in the gameplay deep dive, though.
Updates to physics-based tackling make better tackles actually feel better. New tackle types like wrap catch tackles and lunges, and new timing-based skill mechanics.
So it's like rewatching the thing.
It's not going to be separate. Like if you have wear and tear in college, it probably should be in the NFL too. That's why I'm probably going to have some fun saying that Madden 26 is a College Football 25 reskin after all the comments that happened last year. But whenever it comes to these bigger hits, you definitely feel it. I haven't Football 25 reskin after all the... It probably should be in the NFL too. That's why I'm probably going to have some fun saying that Madden 26 is a College Football 25 reskin after all the comments that happened last year. But whenever it comes to have some fun... like football, it's not going to be separate. Like if you have wear and tear in college, it probably should be in the NFL too. That's why I'm probably going to have some fun saying that Madden 26 is a College Football 25 reskin after all the comments that happened last year. But
damn, how do y'all feel about... I mean, hey, Bordas was the one who went to the EA thing. Did he just spill some tea right there? He's sitting there saying that he's going to have fun saying basically, like, you know, all jokes have truth in it. So is Madden 26 basically College Football 25, but a reskin, but also added in with snow and some more animations? Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna be disappointed if that's true, man.
But whenever it comes to these bigger hits, you definitely feel that. I haven't really noticed any issues with it. The only thing, again, that I'm not the biggest fan of when it comes to the gameplay this year is the pursuit has been raised, so there's a lot more tackles where last year you might have been able to slip out of there. We'll see what it's like on launch, though, and maybe I'm in the minority, or maybe it's just something that I think's there that's not actually in the game.
And variety to defense. New dynamic subs allow real-time roster management without breaking from the action, enhancing the flow and strategy of every game. Make informed personnel decisions.
As you can see right here, you're going to be able at any moment to pull up subs. Now, they're not going to go in for that play, of course. They're going to go in for the next one. But once you get a hang of how to actually use this feature, it is super nice because you can see stuff like where they're struggling with their wear and tear, their status on some of their fatigue, their overall. And this is going to be for both offense and defense. If you want to reset to just your starters after making some changes for a drive, you can do that as well. So this is going to allow you to manage the wear and tear better and have a little bit more control without having to go to a menu.
And get your starters back out there with one button press. A rebuild of offensive and defensive line interactions redefines trench battles. Control the direction of your blocks with new block steering, which factors in player attributes like strength and momentum.
In the plane, it's going to pop up all these different ones that you can choose between. So it is something.
All right, shout out Bordox. Let's check out a little bit of Eric Mayweather. We don't gotta look at the full video.
Deep dive is finally here. Now, this video is sponsored by EA, as they did get me this information early so that I could get this video ready. I'm gonna be breaking down the entire gameplay blog, which is pretty lengthy, but I'm gonna try to sum it up as quickly as possible. And in the background, of course, you will see clips from the trailer playing. And if you don't want to miss out on the rest of the deep dives or the exclusive gameplay coming for this game in the coming weeks, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on, because you're not gonna want to miss all this important info. So the first thing that the deep dive blog covers are the dynamic subs. No longer do you have to sub at the play call menu. You could do this on the fly on the field by pressing up on the D-pad. Then you can cycle players in and out by tapping left or right on the D-pad. And these substitutions will stick until you go in there and change them back. And you can also filter how you sub these players, so if you only want to look at offensive skill players or just at linebackers or just at the defensive line, you can do this. You'll also be able to see real-time health insights on the sub menu, like the wear and tear indicators. You'll also see the overall ratings of the players and their current effectiveness based on their wear and tear. Speaking of wear and tear, that was a very big addition to the game last year, and this year they've made improvements to it in a big way. They said before expanding on the system, the first priority was to address some of the tough-to-reproduce bugs while continuing to improve the balance. So they've cleaned up some of the bugs, and they've also adjusted every ability in the game to ensure accurate balancing around how each ability impacted wear and tear during hits and tackles. And they also answered some big community feedback around making it easier and more strategic to manage players based on wear and tear, because everybody plays different. So there are some auto sub settings that you can use. There's a default setting, which is just the standard CPU substitution logic. There is a keep fresh auto sub, which is inspired by real world rotation strategies like Michigan's frequent running back substitutions. There's a grinded out auto sub for teams that want to keep their best players on the field as long as possible. Players will push through being banged up and only sub out when absolutely necessary. And then there's a custom setting where you could sub based on the lowest health to specific body parts, giving you precise control. And then they go on to say how Dynasty players were some of the most passionate fans of the wear and tear system, but that they wanted to give you more control over it. So this year they've introduced a complete customization of the wear and tear. If you want increased damage from hit sticks or sacks, you can do that. If you prefer faster healing between quarters or during timeouts, you can set it like that. So now there's an in-depth settings menu for wear and tear, and you can completely customize it exactly to your liking, which I think is a great addition. And another new addition to wear and tear is that weather will also impact wear and tear, because they've had conversations with real coaches and players, and one thing that they all consistently brought up is how the weather will significantly impact your wear and tear in real life. So now that will happen in the game as well. They've also visually upgraded how you see this, especially for quarterbacks. It says if the health dips below 60%, you'll see it reflected in his pre-snap demeanor. He might roll his shoulder, shake out his arm, or gingerly kick out a sore leg as he approaches the line of scrimmage.
That's cool as hell, because I seen him grabbing like his left thigh. Have you seen it?
Which is kind of cool, because if for whatever reason you're not paying attention to the wear and tear, you're cute.
So that's the thing to look at too. I like that right there. So like, yeah, bro. There's a lot. So basically, bro, you're gonna have to look at like people's like body language. But this game's becoming too realistic, bro. All these games are becoming too realistic, bro.
Like, will give you a visual cue that something is wrong, and it might remind you to actually pay attention to it if you've lost sight of it. They've also adjusted the toughness rating. Last year, your toughness rating would determine how much damage a player took to a specific body part after contact. This year, they've taken that a step further. Now toughness affects recovery, dictating how quickly each body part heals over time as well. Moving on to abilities, they've done a decent amount of work with that this year, starting with the new archetype system. They've expanded it to add 10 brand new additions, each crafted to reflect a unique and electrifying skill set seen every Saturday. The archetypes are intentionally diverse, and no two share the same ability loadouts, and they said you'll hear more about that when they do the Dynasty deep dive. But one of the biggest changes now is something they're calling the out-of-body experience. It says they've redefined abilities to scale when a player gets hot. Momentum matters more than ever in the game. When a player starts to cook, their physical abilities receive substantial boost. If the player already holds a platinum tier ability, it automatically upgrades to the new Heisman tier, featuring enhanced effects and powerful new functionality directly inspired by player feedback. When this happens, a green flash around the player's icon signals a tier up, but conversely, if a player's performance drops, you'll see the red downward arrow indicating they've dropped a tier. So it's kind of like dynamic abilities now. If you're playing really good, in the moment, your ability can up tier to the next level, which will give them a bigger boost, because if you remember, you had bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, each one more effective than the previous. And now they've added Heisman on top of that. So in game, you can up tier or down tier your abilities based on your momentum, which I think is a pretty cool addition. They've also added some new offensive and defensive abilities. A couple that they touched on here was Battle Ram on offense. And this is exclusive to the contact-seeking archetype. So think of those running backs like in the NFL, for example, like Derrick Henry, who really wants to run you over. These ball carriers inflict increasing levels of wear and tear on defenders, provided they finish runs falling forward. And on the other side of the ball, they have the Hammer ability, which is inspired by hard hitters like Ray Lewis. This gives you a higher chance to force fumbles on perfectly executed hit sticks. And they've also integrated the ability and wear and tear system on a different level this year. Each physical ability now categorizes into either upper or lower. Difference between Air Force's
I'm trying to skip past the wear and tear because we heard about that like 5 times already.
flexbone DNA and USC's spread. From Miami's modern motion-heavy offense, whether he's taking a snap at Wildcat QB or motioning from slot to tailback. They've also added some signature looks from the real 2024 season, like Penn State's shotgun gate, Penn State's swinging gate variants, Ole Miss's Wildcat deuce wing, Rice's pistol wingback, Western Kentucky's power Hulk, ECU's trips off weak, and Duke's wide off trap stack. Moving on to the quarterback play, precision.
Low key, I feel like he just gave us like the hint of the top cheese playbooks. Let me hear that again.
Wildcat deuce wing, Rice's pistol wingback, Western Kentucky's power.
I've been hearing about that college Rice, that they have a cheese playbook this year.
Hulk, ECU's trips off weak, and Duke's wide off trap stack.
So I know the playbook I was using was the Arizona Wildcats. That's the one that has like, you know what I'm saying, a nice cool formations and shit like that. So in the back of my mind, I need to remember Arizona Wildcats, the Rice playbook. They said Duke college playbook, and BYU, right? All right, so if I can mentally remember those, especially the first week.
Play, precision, vision, and strategy. They've done a lot of work with something they're calling field vision, and they say height finally matters. And as a short king myself, I take offense to that. It says field vision factors in QB height, lineman size, and pocket proximity. Shorter QBs under center may lose sight of receivers behind tall linemen, causing icons to fade and accuracy to drop. Just better blitz recognition and improved progression logic. High awareness QBs now respond to pressure like real-life stars, making gameplay more balanced, strategic, and authentic. Now let's move over to the defensive side of the ball. They acknowledged that last year was explosive and wide open on offense, but they felt like they had to buff the defense up a little bit more because at the end of the day, defense wins championships. They've brought physics-based tackling to the game to bring more control, more realism, and more satisfying outcomes to every hit. In this year's game, better-rated tacklers don't just win more, they win with impact. Timing, weight, speed, and angles now drive tackle variety from glancing hits to powerful stops. It's not just about how it looks, it's about how every tackle feels. They've added a bunch of new tackle types like wrap catch tackles. For DBs who aren't heavy hitters, they have the ability to wrap up receivers securely at the catch point. They've also added new lunging tackles where you don't have to necessarily leave your feet to lunge out. You can make a controlled lunge while staying upright, adding another layer of realism to open field tackles. They've also added explosive hit stick animations to capture those thrilling real-life moments when you see the ball carriers caught off guard. They've also done work with the timing of the tackles. It says timing and aiming mechanics from last year's hit stick tackles have been expanded to every one-on-one tackle scenario, including strips, cuts, lunges, wraps, swat catch tackles, and wrap catch tackles. By putting control directly into your hands, your skill as a player can significantly influence broken tackle outcomes, knockout strips, and forced fumbles. And they've also integrated similar timing on offense with trucking and stiff arming as well.
Nice.
They've made some core tackle improvements. This year, tackling upgrades go beyond animations. They capture the chaos, energy, and momentum of real college football. From game-changing sacks to tone-setting hits, defenses now feel as dynamic and impactful as the offenses they face. They've also done work with late hit throws to address unrealistic late-second throws. Late attempts under pressure now lead to more sacks or riskier passes.
Nice.
Throws are aimed more realistically, increasing chances for catches or interceptions while rewarding strong pass rushes. They've also added realistic post-tackle movement. Post-tackle movement is now smooth and more realistic, making big collisions feel more disruptive and authentic. Hits also deliver better audio and more consistent wear and tear effects, adding to the impact. Moving away from tackling into the defensive line, stunts and twists are here. It says at the play call screen, you can hold the corresponding button on any play to open up a new submenu showing all available stunts and twists for that call. Custom tailor your pressure before you even break the huddle. There are 12 unique stunt types available, each designed to replicate real-life tactics used by top defensive coordinators. These aren't just cosmetic, they change the timing, angles, and matchup logic at the line of scrimmage. Now you can run design pressures to force O-line communication errors, set up mismatches and late looping rushers, disrupt rhythm and pocket integrity, and bring true strategy to the trenches. They've also added something called block steering in the trenches. Once engaged, you can press the right trigger and the left stick to begin steering. You can steer an interaction in any direction based on strength and weight ratings, and most importantly, momentum. This works for both sides of the ball, whether you're a nose tackle trying to dent the A-gap or a pulling guard trying to drive a defender out of the way. There are 700 plus new animations in this system alone. Every push, turn, battle looks and feels different depending on who's involved. This also unlocks smarter play from AI linemen. Defensive players will now maintain their assigned gaps based on a play call and alignment, significantly limiting crashing or stunting blindly. Gap integrity matters more in today's game, and it finally matters in College 26. This year's blocking logic has also been re-engineered from the ground up, and that includes both run and pass protection. They've also improved the targeting system for blockers. It says schemes that now block with drastically improved clarity and accuracy include power, counter, trap, wham, duo, all veer variants, and midline concepts. They've also overhauled the impact block and collision wins. All the outcomes are based on weight class ratings and momentum differential. It's not just about being targeted, it's about how you arrive. And when it comes to passing your offensive line, moving on to the secondary, they have added defenders' ability to force single mug, also nickel load and nickel 2-4 load. They've added a variety of things to focus on that. 36 introduces delayed shifts, allowing at the wrong time. Be prepared for an experience that can break your the most by crowd noise. The deeper your route concept, the higher the risk.
All right, so yeah, a lot of the stuff is just repeating, you know, what we already know. Just longer versions of it. Hey, man, shout out to Eric Mayweather and Bordots, bro. College football 26, man, is looking like that game. Are y'all doing pre-order?